Hi,
Uh,
everyone.
Hello. So, introduce yourself for people that don't know who you are.
My name's Mark. I am the lead vocalist and producer for the band Making Blind Eyes See, who Chase is a fan of, and has been a very kind to invite me on to have a little chat with him today.
Yes, I've been absolutely just been looking forward to this and just watching your other interviews and stuff like that. You've been just it just seems like you're such a down to earth person. I've been looking forward to this. So, I
Oh, thank
appreciate you giving me this opportunity, man.
you. No, absolutely. It was when you said you had a stream, I was like, well, you've been such an awesome fan to us, and you've always been always checking in on us and
Oh
always
yeah, of
sending
course.
us nice messages. So
Yeah.
it's my pleasure.
Yeah, of course. Yeah. I think what's so funny is that originally what got me into you guys was after I started going on Spotify, I was just like, I've been listening just to all these other bands, and I was like, I kind of needed something new. And I started going on YouTube, and I seen you guys's Crossfire song, and I was like, okay, for sure. And I was like, immediately after listening to that first song, I showed that to my boyfriend, and we started both listening to your guys' stuff, and I was like, this is some killer shit. And yeah, that after that, that's when I reached out to you guys, and honestly, I can't look back since. You guys have been absolutely awesome. And what was it? I kind of wanted to get into the first question with you, which is what we were discussing on Instagram, which is I kind of wanted to bring it out right out of the gate, which is what game would you want to bring out that if you had the power to, would you ever want a game to be remastered, or what would that be?
I thought I had a quite good answer to this actually, because when you sent it over, I've actually been thinking about this quite a lot now. For me, I am a massive, I don't know if you can see, like, I
Yeah.
am a massive Fallout fan.
Okay.
Like, I have, at the minute, I'm actually not at my own house at the minute, but at mine, I have, like, all the collectibles. I have, like, custom made Nuka Cola bottles, the work. So for me, I think I'd want to see a remake of the original two, one, two, and Tactics and Brotherhood as in,
Okay.
but in like possibly not, but in more of like the New Vegas graphic style. So
Yeah.
like New Vegas 3 graphic style. So I think I'd more polished in a
Okay.
way because I think for me Fallout 4 was a bit too plastic and cartoony. Same with 76. So I want that grit, but I
Yeah.
want that 3D, the 3D proper like gameplay element and the that exploration because I always like the originals, but I think there's some more there's something deeper about being in like first person when a death claw runs at you. Do you
Yeah.
know what I mean? Like,
Oh yeah. Yeah. 100%. And I think I can 100% agree with you with like the cartoony look of like Fallout 4 and 76. Like 76
yeah,
was like in my opinion, obviously, was one of the worst Fallout's. Like Fallout 3 was there. You got New Vegas, and the originals, the good ones, and then like 4, it was okay. The story was all right. The mods carried it heavily,
carried it.
and
Yeah,
then Bethesda was like, hey, you got to pay for them if you want to play it on console. that
yeah.
that was the craziest thing for me. Um, so that's kind of funny that you brought up Fallout because one of your bandmates brought out Left 4 Dead. Have you ever played that, or?
Yeah, I played Left 4 Dead long time ago. I played Back for Blood not so long back because everyone was saying that's like the new version of Left 4 Dead, and I was enjoying that for a while. Um,
That's a
the
stretch.
difficult the difficulty curve on that. Well, let's put it this way: I don't get much time to game anymore, so I was playing nice and casual, and then the difficulty spike just goes, "Oh hi," and I was like, "Oh, here we go." So trying to grind that between recording sessions, vocal sessions, band practices, and actually getting good is not something I've been able to achieve. I'm afraid.
That's actually so funny because like I actually that was one thing was like how did you balance those in between like wanting to game and then you wanting to produce, write music and all that, like how did you find that between balance?
I'm yet to find the balance, shall we say? um, yeah, balance is not something that we've quite got yet, especially with being independent. Like, so this is for me, it's full time, but for the
Yeah.
other guys, they still work jobs on the side to
Oh, okay.
like to fund things. So the way it sort of works is we said we want to do this professionally, we want to make sure this becomes our profession eventually. So because I had sort of the know it how to do like the production side, know it how to have this like run the studio and have the like the skills for like the marketing and the videography and all that. What happens is the revenue from the band sort of pays the way for the band at the minute, and like none of that, and then they all work and contribute to that to pay for like rent for the studio, stuff like that, etc., etc.,
Yeah.
so that everything's covered and that I can be free to work the band full time to make sure we continue to grow the way we have.
Yeah. So that actually kind of. So I was talking to Trevor from Heal the Hurt, another great band. Um, heavily reminds me of like you guys, but not as like you guys obviously have your own style of music, obviously, like Motionless in White, Breaking Benjamin, and you both of you guys would be really good together. But I was talking to him, and he's independent as well. He's an independent artist, and he has a band. And I asked him, and I want to ask you the same thing. If you know, with you making music videos and stuff like that, because I've seen some of your music videos, does that cost you a lot, or is that something that's just like you have to ask for permission?
So that's dependent on what the idea is. So like we're lucky where our studio's situated. We're on like this big industrial yard. So like outside of our studio front door is like 6 to 8 miles of just waste
Oh,
and like and crap. So as you've probably seen in our videos, like we're always with like some abandoned cars in the background or some
yeah, I've
like
noticed that.
weird rubble and or some fences and like that are all decrepit. So like we have plenty of places where like we have free reign to film and do whatever we want, especially on the weekend where like there's no one about working. Um, so that we're lucky in that respect that that's where our studio's situated, and because obviously that means we don't have to pay to have gear transported. We can just take it outside with us and film where we are. If we're usually we do it all ourselves, so we film everything ourselves, I should say. Our management now is starting to take over a bit of the work for us on like the editing video side, so we can focus more just on like the music creation and being creative with the videos, like filming them in creatively.
Yeah.
And then they're taking over the editing responsibilities, freeing up time for us to do more. So yeah, it doesn't really cost us at the moment because we bought the stuff ourselves. Like we've been building up like our videography skills for a while. Like we set out as a DIY band. We wanted to do like everything ourselves.
Yeah.
So it's been interesting to see like the videos progressing, and we always try to push ourselves with each and like thing. Like for example, the Rebirth music video that took. I think that was it. Originally, it wasn't supposed to be for Rebirth, but we tried to film it for. I think it was Shooting Thin Air,
Yeah.
and because the idea was a bit too. We bit off a bit more than we could chew, shall we say? For the first one, we tried to do it at night, and we tried to do like have floodlights on us and all sorts, and like it was the middle of winter, so we were all freezing to death at 3 o'clock in the morning on an industrial yard.
Wow.
And then we were out there for 4 or 5 hours, came back to look at the footage, and it was all completely unusable.
Oh, that's
So
so depressing. Cause like,
yeah,
it sounds cool. Like that sounds like it could have been something, but like, I think seeing both of the music videos, I think obviously the way it went now, I think obviously it turned out better alternatively. But um has there ever been a situation where you're like, hey, I want to do a song, but like, your other crew was just not popping with it, or
I no, I don't think so. Really. I think when it comes to decisions like that, we all sort of sit down and say, well, see, usually now we release songs one by one, and then we'll release like a full album of all those songs at the end when we've released them all. Like for example, now we released Crossfire back in March. We just released Same Mistake.
Yeah.
We've got a bit of a surprise secret project.
Ooh.
That if
Okay.
you're lucky, I might announce with you here.
Okay. Okay.
It's going to be coming after Same Mistake, and then it's back onto new singles like all throughout next year. So it should be new music like every couple of months, starting in January. And then at the end of that cycle, I'm not going to say how many songs I've got, but at the end of that cycle, then we'll probably do like another album with a couple of bonus songs and like maybe a new cover because we did Psychosocial for the last one.
Yeah, that's so funny. I
that was
just
really
listened to that. That's so funny. I just got done listening to that. That's so funny. I was playing Borderlands 2 just before we talked, and I was just jamming out to all your guys' songs because I was just like, well, hey, I got the vocalist coming on, and most people don't know who's coming on, and might as well play your guys' music, right?
Well,
I actually wanted to ask, so when when you guys did that initial giveaway with the one I got in third place and with the when I got to see the snippet of Same Mistakes.
yes.
It's so funny that I told you that even before even hearing it, like fully, even hearing just 19 seconds, I told you that shit was gonna be fire, and it was such the worth of the wait. And you guys don't disappoint, and it's so exciting to finally be on a more of a personal level with you and knowing that you guys know that, hey, I'm just here being a fan, and I've always here supporting you guys, and I'm always going to be here just doing that because you guys have this certain taste of great mix of I don't know how to put it. I guess like the best way I could put it is like I've listened to so much, I guess, like new metal where it's like it's the same kind of like bare bones, like, oh hey, you got the fast BPMs, you got the blast, you got the all that fast fun stuff. But like with you guys kind of like take that and like make it more of like your guys' unique style. And like I wanted to ask you what got you to that point of like wanting to learn that unique style, and like what got you to that point.
That's a really good question. So yeah, I think it boils down to the combination of influences that get injected as the song gets made.
Okay.
So, for example, like me personally, like I came up on like early Bring Me,
Yep.
early Suicide Silence with like Mitch era, like
Yep.
and so obviously they were the vocalists that I was like that's what I want to do.
Okay.
So as I like progressed, and now it's only very recently I started being able to like doing singing. Like in the first record was all screams basically, and then we'd sort of injected that sort of pitch scream into the choruses, like on songs like Shooting Thin Air and stuff like that. So it was only when we came up with Rebirth, it was like we need to do something differently here. And I think the big answer to that question is every song we look at it, because we're doing the production ourselves. Every song we look at, we go, what have we never done before in a song? And then we go, okay. And then we try to put something new in every song that we've never done before.
Yeah.
So, for example, like when it came to Rebirth, it was like we've never done a big clean chorus before. Never ever had clean vocals, and we were like, well, it's worth a shot. Let's see what happens. So we tried it, and it worked, and it was like, okay, well, now we've got that in the bag, we can see about adding that to more songs. And then like every song like sort of grows like that. So it's like then it came to Isolate. It's like, okay, we can do clean vocals now, so I can add them in parts. What haven't we done now in this song that was done in the last song? And then it sort of just builds from there.
Yeah.
We keep trying to make things new and interesting with every song. So, and that I think that's how it progresses. And we've just injected, and because of our influences, like for example, like Sean loves his sort of more melodic metalcore and stuff like more melodic music. Rob loves his like more thrash metal styles. Cameron loves his like really classic metalcore sound and like so it's and Josh really likes his like old school metal and he really likes like old school Avenged Sevenfold and stuff like that. So it every time someone comes in with an idea for a song, it's like, well, how do we make this us, but keep the foundation of the inspiration there as well?
Okay, yeah, I'm getting you. It's just basically like you guys have the idea, but you guys want to make sure it sticks together and it's fundamentally there, right?
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. So it's so like for example, you can probably if I mention that, you can probably start to tell like the songs that where people have had the most influences. So like for example, Crossfire was like my baby that I sort of wrote the majority of the parts for.
Yeah.
So and that's like you can tell because it's just like hard hitting, slammy, more
Yeah,
like
yeah.
Suicide Silence's style. Really like that big sort of and like we injected more vocally into it. So like the first thing we'd ever done with that was like try and rap in a thing. So I tried to do like a couple of rap verses, see how that would turn out. And to be fair, I really enjoyed doing that in Crossfire. So there might be a bit more of that coming at some point.
Okay, so more
Um,
rap. That's one thing I
yeah.
actually didn't know about you was like I've heard your cleans. I never really knew that you did rap. Like who's like kind of I have kind of an assumption of like Eminem, but like is there any other?
No, not like
No, really? Okay.
no, not like that. I've never. It literally like I just try things I hear, and I think if it works for my voice, I'll keep working on it. If it doesn't sort of lend itself, like we keep trying practicing at it and see where it goes. But usually it's we'll we only like to add things if we really do think that it's something that will improve the song, not like just add it in for the sake of adding it in. Like
Yeah.
Crossfire had that really big, hard hitting intro,
Yeah.
and we thought, right, this needs to drop out now so it can really smack you in the face when it comes back in.
Yeah.
So that was like, okay, well, what can we do here that's not just like the classic drop out to a soft, clean vocal?
Yeah, no,
So I
I
was like, okay, well, let's try like a rap kind of thing, and then we just did that, and that's how we went from there. And yeah,
dude, that's so cool cuz like I've I've listened to I mean majority of all your guys' songs at this point I think besides like your older stuff. It's more of like the 2018, 2019, 2020 and then I met you guys type stuff.
yeah.
So your early on stages of becoming making Blind Eye See, when like where did that kind of come from? Like where did you guys like sit there and say, you know, we want to come up as we want to sit there and be this band known as Making Blind Eye See?
Right. Well, so that was so I'm trying to think of the dates. The name was a song name from my first band. So my first band had a song called "Making Blind Eye See," and
Oh, okay.
the lyrics to that song were lyrics that I really enjoyed writing. I really liked the message of the song, which was like, "Find your own truth. Don't worry about what the world says. Don't worry about what the world believes. If that's not right for you, find your own truth. Ignore the bullshit. Don't let anyone stand in the way of what you believe." And I really liked that sort of open your eyes to your truth,
Yeah.
and that's what I always thought. Like I always that always resonated with me. And then when that band broke up, I was like, well, it just sort of went away. Never didn't really think about it. Joined another couple of bands, started doing stuff like that. They just never really panned out. Had a couple of members here and there stick around and stuff, and then eventually it came to the point where I was like, okay, well, I'm gonna start my own band now, and I need a name. And I was thinking of really trying to think of band names and stuff like that. And if you've ever been in a band, I think people will relate. Like finding a name
It's
that
pretty hard.
really, it's really hard because it's something that like you've got to think like if something does happen 10 years down the line, is this name still going to represent something that I believe in,
Right. Yeah,
like in 10
100%.
years? So it came back to it, and I was obviously, and that song just popped into my head, and I was like, that's something I feel like I'm always gonna believe in. I'm always gonna stand firm in, like, and it's something I'm always gonna feel and be able to say I believe in that no matter what. So because it's such a strong message to be saying, like, it doesn't matter what you believe, like we can all come together in music. It doesn't matter, like we don't need hate, we don't need to hate each other. No one can hear you hate if the music's loud enough.
For real, exactly.
So
Okay, that's kind of funny. That's kind of one. That's such a funny point that you bring up. That also kind of leads into another question that I have is I've noticed that you guys have performed live already. That you guys have done some live shows, and I kind of wanted to ask you how is that feeling on stage and like hearing people scream back your lyrics, stuff like that. Like I kind of want to know how that feels as a vocalist.
there's there's absolutely no feeling I can compare it to in the world. Like when like stood on a stage, like, and you can like obviously like you don't realize how much you can actually see of an audience when you're on stage. Like you can see
Right.
everything like so clearly, and just being giving the performance. Sometimes I literally just have to stop and take a minute because I'm like blown away that like there are lyrics I've sat like writing in my bedroom, like, and I've like there's there's songs like I've listened to hundreds and hundreds of times whilst I've been mixing them, and the fact that other people are resonating with these songs that like we didn't write for anyone else, we wrote them for us. Like we
Yeah.
wrote music we enjoyed, we loved, and we wanted to write, and now that music is resonating so much with someone that they've taken the time to learn the lyrics and then come and sing them back at us is a feeling that I don't think will ever get old for me. It was absolutely it's just absolutely incredible.
That's
It makes me speechless just speaking about it. Do you know what I mean? Like,
Yeah, yeah, of course. That and then that also kind of makes me wonder, like, if a fan, like someone like me, for example, I'm a guitarist myself. I've been playing guitar for about 2 years, and I'm thinking about potentially maybe learning one of your guys' songs. And I was kind of like seeing how you guys felt about that, um, doing like a cover.
we would absolutely love to see a cover. It would be amazing.
Yeah.
Like,
Okay.
if you need guitar tabs or anything like that, you know what, find me. I can sort them out for you.
Oh, dude, bet say less because I definitely. You guys play six string, right?
Yeah, our guitarist plays. I play seven personally, but we write all our songs for six strings. Yeah.
Perfect. I can literally play that. And then, majority of your songs are in what tuning? Do you know or no?
Yeah. So we mainly are in drop G sharp and drop F sharp.
Ooh, ooh, that's the real chunk. Ooh.
Yeah, low boys.
Okay, hey, you know what? You're putting my extra heavy gauges to work.
Yeah.
um, so I wanted to the whole like so the whole reason I kind of started this whole project and me coming to you guys and other bands, and it's starting to pop off now to where I'm actually starting to have people come on like you guys and Heal the Hurt, and now I'm trying to get some other bands. What is, like, I guess, per se, your tip of like going out to talk to somebody and not engage them in a sense of like, I'm not trying to like with you guys. I engaged you guys because I liked your guys' music, and I threw out there like, hey, you want to do an interview? Let's do it. I've been trying to do that again, but it's like I feel like maybe I'm kind of like crossing that, I guess, that like border of like maybe I'm pushing too hard. Is that maybe something I'm like kind of thinking too much on?
So I'll just run you by the opposite side. So we get messages every day,
Mm.
like, and it's like cold callers. Someone will literally like message us and say like basically just like give me money, 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 and it's like those are the messages we just straight up ignore because it's like whenever you want something from someone, like it's it's more you've got to like the connection is why we said yes to this, because it was like you've been a fan of ours, you've shown like you're interested in the project, and you've really shown that like we by doing this we feel like we're repaying your fandom. Like
Oh
we feel
yeah.
like we're able to say thank you so much for being a fan to us. It really does mean the world to us that you like every time like we get you're like in our like primary message folder on Instagram. So like every time a message pops through, it's like, oh, Chase has messaged me. I'll go and reply to that straight away. Do you know what I mean? Like,
Oh,
so
that's
it's
so
like
awesome. That's awesome. Oh, that's such an awesome feeling for me because it's like I grew up just loving music and just growing up to loving meeting my heroes and essentially people like you because I do look up to you guys. I look up to you. I've looked up to Heal the Hurt. I've looked up to all of these bands that I cannot wait to hopefully potentially meet. And just being able to get this surreal experience and have this one-on-one where it's not like I'm surrounded by hundreds of other people when we're in this crowded area and we're trying to talk. It's personal, and it's very surreal for me, and it's very humbling for me because as somebody who grew up playing guitar, playing Guitar Hero, all this and that, and just striving to be somebody that obviously I'm not in a part of a band. I was, but we never really did anything, and it was like it was whatever. But like watching you guys and seeing you guys grow so fast, it was so insane. It was like a fucking firework going off, and
it has been absolutely insane over the last year. Like we did so our management makes us like track all our statistics so they can send stuff out for like endorsements and things like that. And we were looking back at it the other day,
yeah.
and it's like our entire fan base is like more than doubled since January. It's
And you guys 100% deserve it. And my boyfriend actually wanted to ask, which song was there? Which song was your favorite to write, and which one was the most personal to you guys as the band? I think that's a really good question.
that is a really good question. So for me,
Hmm.
like it's so what's awesome is that this is obviously our most popular song as well. So like it's really good. It's really nice for me. Like obviously, "Deny Me Certainty" is like my
Hmm.
baby.
Hmm.
That is the one I wrote from scratch. It was all sort of me. So I can't say that. It was all me writing the parts. Then then we had the idea, and me and Cameron, it was the way we developed our our new writing style, our new way of putting songs together. So, so there was that part of it that was really cool. Like it helped us write future songs from there. Um, but it was one of those songs that everything just fell into place so perfectly so quickly.
Yeah.
So it was like, oh, we need this. We want to open it with like this big beat that's like big and open beat, and then we want it to speed up and go like into a mad drum and like. And so me and Cameron literally just like sat in a room, and like 30 minutes later we had a song, and
Yeah.
it was like, holy shit, we've written a song, like, and it's like a really good song, like
Yeah.
comparatively to our other song, it's a really good song. So then it was like, okay, I'll go home today. We'll get some lyrics sorted out for it. Come back tomorrow to do. Literally went home, opened up my phone, started looking through like lyrics, and it was like that that one will work. And the song itself is about I was in a place sort of before this band. It was just after like we'd launched our first album, and it hadn't really got the reception that like we really wanted for it. It was like we were starting our journey, we were in over our heads, completely on our own, didn't know what we were doing, didn't know like anything about social media marketing, anything at all. We were just like, what do we do? And it was like, we just launched an album and it's just gone. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
as happens to every band,
Yeah.
we know now.
Yeah.
Like, so it was like it was a song I wrote because I was like, I'm not gonna let that beat me.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna write down all these feelings of like all these feelings that I have that make me think I want to give up, and I'm gonna flip the script on them and have a song that I'll have forever that tells me to never ever quit, never ever give up, and know that even though things are not certain, just keep pushing forward, and eventually things will change, whether that's for the better or for the worse. And if not, fuck it, I'll be worm fooder.
That's okay. So that's where the fuck it, I'll be worm food comes from. That was
Yeah, it's
okay.
yeah. That line is because it's like you can stay still and let the vultures rip you apart, or you can take the leap into the unknown and see what happens.
Yeah, that's honestly like it's so crazy just hearing you explain it because the more I've heard it, now it makes more sense. And now that kind of leads me into like is that kind of like the same thing with like same mistakes where it's like you were feeling like you were doing the same mistakes, you know, is that like the meaning behind the song or
So same mistake. I felt it different time periods, but I felt like really trapped for a while. I was like every day started to feel the same. Every direction we tried to take just wasn't panning out, and it felt like everything was just stagnant. And there was no movement, and I just started feeling like I was trapped in a box. So I was like, we've got to, and it's essentially. I don't want to say it's a follow on from Deny Me Certainty, but it's definitely a follow on from the emotion behind Deny Me Certainty's lyrics. It's
okay.
saying, I don't want to repeat the same mistake that I made with Deny Me and feeling like I wanted to give up. I
Okay.
want to keep pushing. And it was a song that said, look at what we've accomplished in such a short time.
And
Like this
yeah.
round, I'll bring in the whole crowd, and like it's like this time I'm not. We look where we've made the crowd that like we've got a crowd there who like actually interact with us, who are actually like fans of us, who actually like want to be a part of this journey, and that to me is like the most important thing in the world to me now. Like every morning, getting to wake up and answer like people's comments, answer people's messages. Like I look forward to waking up in the morning now to see like what our fans have been up to and what our fans are saying, and that I think is the most important thing in the world. Like so many people say to us like, "Oh, we can't believe you answered." Like fans don't answer, and I think how can you have fans and just not want to speak to every single one of them every day? Like, I just don't understand the mindset.
Yeah, no, I get that. I think a lot of it is I think as somebody who's a fan of like Slaughter to Prevail, for example, right? Oh, I would love the chance to be able to talk to Alex Terrible. Would that ever happen? Probably not. But it's like someone like you, for said example, you would probably be able to get a better chance because you're in a known band and he might actually do something with you guys. It's hard. It's easier for you guys to make that connection with, you know what I mean? So it's
Yeah,
like, it's harder for someone like me, like on a fan side where it's like we're trying to reach out to someone that's that big and they have like you know these media people and then you know you have to go through these other people, you got to make sure you know you got to follow these certain guidelines, blah blah blah. And then like you guys are independent, he's on a label, and it's like with being on a label you have to stick to this sort of not personality but more of like if you're not gonna put yourself if somebody is gonna interview you and they're not gonna put you in this positive light and you know it's not gonna be positive, then you're not gonna do it type ordeal. You know what I mean?
mm,
And I think that's what a lot of bands worry about is that they're gonna be coming on and then they're gonna kind of they're gonna sit there and get dogged on and they're gonna get dogged on by some fan like some fan that's not an actual fan. You know what I mean?
yeah. I understand the other side. Also, there's the time factor. Like I'm busy as hell as it is. Like
Yeah.
I literally have to allot myself an amount of time to respond to things now. Otherwise, I'll sit there all day and get nothing done. Like,
Yeah.
you know what I mean? Like, so it is there is the time factor, and obviously it's harder for some people are just not socially prone. Like some
Yeah.
people don't really like going on social media. So it's like it's no one's fault. Just for me personally, I love being able to sit and talk to like all of our fans. I love being able to get to know like our fans and like, and it's going to be awesome. Like when we do get out to the States, like it'll feel like we're not just headed into the unknown. We'll have
Yeah.
friends and we'll have like people we basically consider family already there waiting for us.
Oh,
So
dude, you already know that you got a family out here in Michigan waiting for you, brother. That's 100%. Because I've been showing you around, and let's just say, people have been definitely interested. I want to kind of see how you guys would you guys ever be like comfortable? Maybe like have you guys ever performed in bars and stuff like that? Like, what was your like? What have you guys done?
for us, like bars is like sort of after the music scene in the UK now is like very it's not stairs anymore. It's more like there's a first step and then there's like you have to jump up a ladder to get to the next step.
Oh, okay.
It's the best sort of way. So like, there's no like in between venues anymore. They all sort of closed or stopped doing live events during COVID. So you've got the very bottom shitty bars
Oh.
that are like really like hard to get a crowd in. The stage is not really a stage. You're in like a little corner shoved away where the drum kit takes up the whole thing, and then like the the bits in between are like sort of very few and far between. Like and we're more because we've now sort of got like we've been focusing on the social side. We've not been as active in the community, so we find it harder to get on these smaller steps before this ladder where there's like the real venues are.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Uh, so we're working with our management team now to get a proper booking agent. But to answer your question, yes, we have played many a shitty bar.
Oh, okay, yeah, because I wanted to ask, like, you've said that you've been in a part of how many bands have you actually been a part of, like in
Ooh,
total?
let me think. It's five, maybe six over the years. Like that is, yeah. So like my first band was called Destined for Damnation.
Okay.
And then that fell apart, and then that Josh was actually in that band as well.
Oh,
Josh was actually in that band as well, which is how I knew him, and he wanted to come back for this project. Then I took the guitarist and the bassist from Destined for Damnation into a band called what was it Burnt to Embers, I think it was called, something like that. And that was the band where we actually wrote the song Dead Decembers.
oh,
Um,
okay.
so that song is a very old song. Oh yeah, and it was all Dead Decembers and Water Under a Broken Bridge. Those two came out of that project. Then I stopped having my own bands and I joined another band called See You in July as the drummer.
Okay.
And then eventually Josh came on board and took over my place of drums and I jumped on vocals. Then that didn't pan out because we had problems. Usually bands fall apart because members just don't want to be in a band anymore and they'll make it difficult for everyone else to be in that band with them.
I kind of wanted to ask you, like, it kind of seems like.
I have had if there was bad luck and there's bad luck, I've got the worst luck when it comes to band members. But I will say, right as of now, the 5 people who are in this band are absolutely like solid. It's always a pleasure to work with like Rob, Sean, Cameron, Josh. Like they're all ultimate professionals, despite what our studio diaries may suggest.
Yeah.
um,
Yeah, I wanted to ask because I've been kind of like watching your guys' Instagram posts kind of religiously because like I've been, I'll just scroll through and I'll just see your guys's and I'll comment here and there. And the drummer is Josh, right? That's
yeah.
Josh, right? Okay. So I wanted to ask, so for you two being together for as many years, you guys have been friends for for a while, right?
Long time, yeah, yeah.
Okay. So like, are you guys like childhood friends, or are you guys just like you guys just met through school?
So neither actually.
Oh, okay.
We my first band, Destined for Damnation, we needed a drummer. Now I don't know if you have it over there, but you probably have something similar. We have there's like a website over here called joinmyband.co.uk. and it's essentially like a forum post page where you can just like say what kind of band you are, and people in the area can say, "Oh, I play this. I can come and play for you." We put
Huh.
a post up on there. Josh responded, um, and he just came to our practice, and we were like, "Right, do you know any of the songs?" He's like, "Oh, I know all the songs," and he was like, "Okay, you're in."
Okay. Did you like throughout all the years of you progressing, to where you guys are now, was there like any like beef? Like have you guys had any beef with anybody or anything like that? I kind of was kind of curious about that.
Uh, Not with anyone in the band now. Like me and Josh have always been like we've like sometimes lost touch a bit, but we've always been like friends and like friendly. The reason he actually rejoined this band is because he got back in touch because he was like, I love making Blind Eyes See. Like you guys are awesome. Like I listen to you all the time, and I was like, that's really cool. And our previous drummer, um, he was having quite some difficulty with his health.
Oh,
Because
okay.
to be fair, he was like he was he'd been drumming for like 40 years at that point.
Wow.
So he was older, but like never a player I'd seen like him. Absolutely phenomenal player he was. Um, and still part of the band to this day. Like he still like practices drums in our rehearsal suite. He basically does the maintenance on our studio for us,
Oh,
and
okay.
like engineers for us as well. So yeah, so beef wise, so much, but I don't really want to get into
No,
it.
no, 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 no. You're good. You're good.
Yeah.
No, 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 no. I was just
Um,
like, I'm kind of curious because, like,
so there is so much beef that like ended up happening between like old members and stuff like that, and it's let's put it this way: if things had got started when they should have, if like I'd had this lineup of members back when we actually started this band in 2015,
wow.
um, yeah, we'd be like 5 years ahead of where we are.
Okay. Wow. Yeah. So then that kind of makes me wonder. Then, like, um, do you kind of regret all that situations that happened, or are you kind of happy like everything that panned out where you are now?
We have a song coming out next year that'll answer that question.
Oh, damn it! I can't. Okay.
And I'll I'll just tell you the name of the song now as a little sneak preview. The song's called "Every Cloud Has a Silver Rope."
Ever cloud have a silver rope. Okay, that sound. And knowing you guys, it's gonna be an absolute banger. And
Oh, thank you.
yeah, you guys never disappoint. Um, I wanted to kind of figure out a little bit about you personally, you as a vocalist. What kind of got you wanting to learning vocals and like, hey, I want to become like this mix master person?
Well, that's a good question. Me, so I've as soon as I like first ever saw like a live performance of music, I think like I got into music like at a very young age because my parents were very musical. Like my dad was into like old school metal and old school like hard rock. He got me into like things like Black Sabbath, Iron Maiden, like he listened to like and like David Bowie, all the gods of like rock and roll and things like that.
Okay.
And the early metal. And my mum was always into like has always been like very into music. Like there was always music playing in the house growing up, whether it was like 80s, 90s, all sorts. Like so, I was raised on like 90s, 2000s pop and rock.
Okay.
And the first sort of bands I really got into was like Busted. Like my own personal bands that I got into was like Busted, Avril Lavigne, um, and like more like pop punky kind of stuff. Like then, sort of like as my music taste progressed, I started getting into like Green Day, and then started looking into like harder stuff. Like, and it just gradually getting harder. And I remember it was when I found Slipknot. Like I always wanted to be in a band, and I was a guitarist. Obviously, I started learning playing drums. I always loved just being around music, and I always assumed I just wanted to be like a singer guitarist like Matt Tuck would be, or like Matt Heafy, or
Yeah.
like and it when I started going to high school, obviously my voice got deeper. I lost the ability to sing like I could when I was younger. and I was like, I didn't want to give that up. So after a time where I've been listening to Slipknot, what happened was Bullet for My Valentine released an album called Fever.
Yep.
That's a long, long time ago. Yeah.
Yeah.
I wasn't a massive fan of that album at the time. Like, it had some good songs, but it didn't like. It wasn't like Scream Aim Fire. It wasn't The Poison. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, it wasn't like their old stuff.
They're like, don't get me wrong. Like, I listened to the hell out of the album anyway because I
Yeah.
really loved Bullet for My Valentine back then. But like, it gave me that drive where I was like, I need something new. And
Yeah.
I happened onto Suicide Season by Bring Me the Horizon, and as soon as the Come Down came in, I was like, I'm gonna do that.
That's awesome.
And it was like a literally like light flick. I'm gonna learn to do that, and then I literally just locked myself away in my bedroom for like hours a day. Like, you're talking like it was like through the summer holidays, so it was literally like the first week of the summer holidays at school. It was like boom, found Bring Me, and then it was like next week, right, YouTube tutorials, how do I learn to scream? Right, boom, locked myself away in my room for like 10 hours a day, learn to scream until my like voice was literally like bleeding.
Wow.
Until I learned to do it right and like learning to do it properly, and then like it was like, right, well, I do need to learn to do this properly. I need to figure it out. So by the time I went back to school in the September, I'd found a new band I loved, completely basically changed my entire personality, and learned to scream, and was then a scream vocalist. I was like, right, I need a band now. Let's go.
Okay, that's cool. Yeah, cause I've listened to your screams, and honestly, you have such a unique vocal range, and I don't think many vocalists could really, at least in my opinion, like I've listened to a lot of metal vocalists, and I don't think a lot of people can really sound like you. And it's like, if like somebody asked on Instagram like who you wanted, if if you could ever collab with somebody, who would that be? And I know that you guys answered that question, but I kind of want to reverse it a little bit and kind of ask it a little bit differently. And that question would be, if there was somebody who were to come to you and say, "Hey, you want to come on tour with me?" Who would that be?
Oh, there's so many names instantly spring to mind. Like, should we like? I'll take this from like biggest band down to like the smallest band.
Okay.
So on the scale, on the big scale, obviously like Slipknot straight up there, because I feel like a tour with Slipknot would be absolutely insane.
Yeah.
Like Slipknot, probably like Bullet for My Valentine, Bring Me. Yeah, probably maybe Bad Omens. I think we're probably on the bit too heavy side for Bad Omens sort of thing now. Now though.
Yeah, yeah. Sadly, yeah. Their older stuff
Yeah.
was a lot more heavier.
Yeah. I mean, I do dig the new stuff, and it's a very interesting and unique sort of style. I just wish they'd do more like Artificial Suicide and like Dethrone and stuff like that, and
yes.
integrate more of that into the cleaner side of it, because I feel like it works so well.
Yeah,
They're
yeah.
so good at being heavy.
Yeah, yeah.
So keep being heavy, because it's such a waste for them not to be.
Yeah. You brought up. Yeah. Sorry, go on.
And then I think on the mid level, I mean, I say mid level, like Motionless in White are getting really big now, which is amazing to see. Considering I remember when their first album wasn't even available here, and we literally had to pirate it because it wasn't available for us. Like that was crazy days. So like, I remember listening to Creatures back when it like first came out, and I was like very young. So like that was one of those albums that's like always sat with me. Like Abigail and stuff like that is still like a riff that comes to my mind when I'm writing songs, and I still like play it just to like warm up and stuff. So so Motionless in White, In This Moment are another band I'd really like to tour with, because I remember when Blood first came out, I really got into them, and I've been following them ever since. The band called Butcher Babies, who who are also really good. Fit for a King are another band I'd really like to go on tour with. We
Mm-hmm.
saw them when they went last time they came here, and it was like this little underground basement club. And honestly, with a Muir as well. Oh, absolutely insane night. Absolutely insane night. Cameron nearly got knocked out a couple of times, but um, you should have. It was so funny because they went. Ryan said, "We heard you like it heavy here in Britain." In the room, I've never heard a room go as loud.
That's so crazy. I've actually, believe it or not, I've actually never been to a concert yet. So,
Really?
yes. Honestly, I kind of want to make it. I kind of want to either wait for you guys to come out here to make it my first because you guys have been there. Because like, yeah, I fuck with you guys that heavy, or uh, Heal the Hurt or Orbit Culture. Like those three bands, like Orbit Culture for sure, 100%. Because like, obviously, you can't go wrong with Orbit Culture. Um, that's actually I had a funny question. Has there like has there ever been like a time where you as a band would go out and like do like a set, something like that, and then you would meet your like your favorite band just in that moment? Has that ever happened?
No, nothing like that's ever happened to us really yet. We've obviously, as we've been playing, we've met bands that we've become like really big fans of.
Oh, okay.
So I'm going to give a shout out to our good friends in Any Given Reason and in Carnage because we just played a show with them back in when was it? My dates are all messed up. I've been working on a new project in the studio for weeks. I don't even know where I am.
You're good.
Last month, I think it was, or the month before. Oh yeah, July, end of July, we played with them, and that show was absolutely insane. Like those guys know how to bring the pie. So
Okay, that's what's up. That's so awesome to like kind of get that back, like kind of get your guys' backstory on everything because I've been so intrigued on learning everything about I guess like every band that I've listened to, I guess in a weird way, because like I love just hearing their story and like this is why I love creating music and just hearing them and like being just so real and so chilled down to earth like you and Trevor, which again I'll bring up him. Both of you guys have like meeting both of you guys have been such a humbling and for real like such a surreal experience for me because it's like you guys are just such down to earth people and it's like I've always had like this thought of like vocalists may just like I always just thought like vocalists are just gonna be very just egomaniacs, but yet I was very kind of slapped in the face wrong how quickly I got accepted with you and other bands like that. And the first band I actually got the chance to talk to, never vocally or personally, but it was Defamed. I don't know if you ever heard of them. Um, they you know they were kind of like my starting stone of getting into like the heavy stuff, and I've been supporting them since they started their first single. And I wish I was there for you guys since you first started, but you know I'm here. I'm gonna be there until you guys stop, and hopefully that doesn't stop.
not for a long time, I hope. Not for a long, long time.
So
Health permitting, we're all here, and we're all gonna keep going until I can no longer do the bleh.
yeah, exactly. And that was one other thing I kind of wanted to ask that we were kind of discussing a little bit that we never really kind of discussed, which was you know you getting vocally taught and then like learning those things. What got you into like okay, like let's stick with the blaz and like let's stick with like these crazy, you know what I mean? Like what got you to do those like liking those things?
I after I got into Bring Me, I obviously branched out further and further down the rabbit hole as everyone does. So like straight into like so like my screams are based off like four vocalists in particular, and that
Okay.
would be like Ollie Sykes, Suicide Season era,
Okay.
Parkway Drive, Horizons Deep Blue era,
Mm.
Mitch Lucker, No Time to Bleed era, and there is another one. I've just completely lost my train of thought. What did I say? Mitch Lucker, Ollie Sykes, Partway Drive. Oh, and Sam Carter from Architects. That's the one.
Oh,
So, like,
okay.
obviously, like the shouts and the clean screams and stuff like that. When I heard, I think it was the first song I heard by them was "Outside of Heart," and that, like that, just that chorus, it just hit me in the chest, man. That was just like, "I'm from the edge, and you're on your own." I was like, "Ooh, like just that." I was like, "I gotta get me some of that. I gotta be able to do that." So I started learning that, and then after that, like Sempiternal came out, where like Ollie Sykes started going into like the cleaner and doing like the shouty, clean singing stuff. So it was like, yeah, I'm gonna like, and I want to learn how to do that. So it was there. Those listening to those four bands are the ones that like really just like push me to be like, they're the vocals I want to make my voice do. And it was only like I had to really like start. It was only when I like really started having my own recording studio that I started to be like, right, well, I need my own identity in my voice.
Yeah, yeah.
So I started like I took the inspiration, but I started like if you'd heard like my older bands, you'd see like I'm just like sort of imitating those vocalists, and it's not really, for
You.
one, it's not really healthy, and it wasn't really like, it didn't suit the style of music we were doing anyway. So it was like, now I feel like I'm very much got my own identity with my voice, and I feel like any type of song we write, I can make work with my voice rather than just trying to put someone else's idea on it.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
So,
Um, so I asked Heal the Hurt this question, and I want to ask you kind of the same question. It's kind of a curveball question, and that would be AI, right?
yeah.
How do you feel about it? And like, do you feel like AI is gonna take over metal community and stuff like that? Like, how do you feel about AI and stuff
Okay.
like
Well,
that?
let me ask you a question.
Yeah.
Do 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 you stream because you just want to get famous?
No.
Why do you stream?
I stream because make I originally started streaming because I wanted to make a community based off of me liking music, me liking what I personally like, and me doing voices, doing impersonations, and me growing up as someone who watched a lot of cartoons and stuff like that. It kind of got me to where I was now, where it's like I play games and I do voices, stuff like that. And it kind of got me to the point where I pushed myself for 4 years to stream 7, 8 hours daily to get to where I'm at today. And I don't care about numbers. I don't care about making money. All I care about is making a personal connection with the things that I care about. And something like that
That's
is you.
why. That's why AI will never take over, because there are people passionate like you who just want to do it because their heart's in it.
Yeah. I
That's what AI will never have.
okay. That's a
That's the for me personally. Like I'm not worried about AI taking over like music, because I don't write music because like I want the masses to hear my music, and I want like to write the next hit song. I write music because I love writing music, and I love being able to share the art that's inside of me with people who want to be a part of that. Like, it doesn't matter to me if someone hates what we do. It just doesn't matter to me. Like, I love having fun with haters on the internet who think we care. Like, you know what I mean? Like, we're not doing this for anyone else except for the people in our family and community who have come along for the ride,
yeah.
or ourselves. That's it. Like,
Yeah.
so AI will never take over. But what I think is a problem is there's already a stigma with what is essentially now a tool that is very good for independent and smaller artists. And
Yeah.
I'll lay it out for you like this. Like, see, we've not really leaned into AI in any way. Like, the most AI we've used is like on merch designs. We use Photoshop, so we have like generative fill, which essentially allows you to just expand the edges of your picture. So, for example, we have a T-shirt design that's like a big phoenix that we
Yeah.
like. The me and
Oh,
Cameron
yeah, yeah, yeah,
design,
yeah, 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 yeah.
and everyone said that's AI, that's AI. It's like, well, I'm sorry, like AI got that art style from people drawing. Like,
But like
do you know what I mean?
like see something like that is I don't really like it's hard. It's
So the way,
hard.
yeah, the way I'll lay it out is like a small artist who's not making any money, right, and needs a merch design, right,
Mm.
goes get like who would have to pay a designer upwards of like say like $400-500 for a good design for a t-shirt. Yeah, like on the cheap side that wouldn't look very good, you're talking $200.
Yeah.
So like they're never going to recoup that.
Yeah. Yeah,
You're
true.
paying like if you whereas with a tool like AI, it gives them the opportunity to be able to put something out that people might want that would get their name out there. Because it looks cool and someone might be able might wear it. Someone might see that design and go, "Oh, I'll check that band out," and that is fantastic for smaller artists. Like
Yeah.
it gives them an offer. Like it's like saying like all it is now at the moment is a tool. Like, so I have no problem with it being used for like, because you cannot like, an AI cannot create a masterpiece.
Yeah.
It cannot. It can't just do it. Like every time, like I've tried it, it's been like very finicky and like it's never ever got my idea right ever. So
Yeah.
it's like I just tend to like go. The way I've been using it is I'll generate what I'm trying to get out of my head and then be like, well, that's close enough. I can use that as like a reference image to design what I actually want.
Yeah.
Um,
Okay.
so that it's good. It's good for that too. It's really good for designers to be able to like visualize their idea and then design their idea too.
Yeah.
Because usually as a designer, you go down a rabbit hole 10 hours doing some photo design, doing some image graphic design, and then go, oh, I don't like that.
Yeah.
So
It's like I it's like the whole reason why I even brought it up was like I've kind of seen like AI artists, like AI metal artists kind of like popping off, and it's like their music is okay, I guess. I'll give it like the okay. But like I don't think it'll ever be able to replace like what you guys make or what any other bands I personally listen to. And it's like um I just wanted to like, with the years that progress on in the future for you guys, and like, obviously you can't say much because you don't want to, spoil too much. Um, what would be like, absolute worst case scenario for you guys if like worst comes to worst?
what do you mean? So like,
Like, let's just say like, everything gone to absolutely shit. AI took over, and every person that's
right?
trying to make music can't make music because AI can make it.
I mean, AI can always make music, but so can I. So like
Yeah. Okay.
that. So like I, I can promise that like we would never ever use AI for anything in our music because that completely takes the point away from us. So like I don't. That's where I have a problem with it. If you're like writing something that it's supposed to be personal in your art, and then like, but then it's not nothing to you. It's completely computer generated. That's a problem.
Yeah.
So, but that still doesn't take away from the fact that I'm gonna write it from scratch and still do it.
Yeah.
So even if AI does like take over and like think, I don't think it will because I don't think I think artists will start being artists. People will thrive for that real art and
Mm.
they'll want to differentiate. What I think will happen is they'll start being price tiers. You'll see different price tiers. Like you'll probably see a Spotify package that's AI only music,
Yeah.
and then the tier up will be real artists.
Yeah.
That's what I think will start to happen in the industry. I think you'll start to see the monetization of AI because of AI art, because it'll be like the cheap way to enjoy music without having to like. It'll be a way they can monetize it as cheaper, and I think that's what the route they'll go. But I don't think that'll ever stop us from making our music. I don't think there'll be ever a time where I'm like, I don't want to write a new song. I don't want to write something new. I don't. I use writing music as like my therapy to like let out all the bad thoughts and keep myself in a good place mentally.
Yeah.
So without that, like, I don't know where I'd be. I don't know what I'd do.
Yeah.
So I will always just keep writing regardless.
Okay. Well, I definitely respect that, and I think um, people in my chat are even saying my boyfriend 100% agrees with you on AI can help with the shape an idea, but not create its own idea. And
Exactly.
yeah, and I kind of wanted to bring up another point um, that, and kind of like in the music industry, that maybe you can kind of shed some light on me that maybe I'm kind of like misunderstanding is that um, I'm kind of like at this kind of like state of like misunderstanding of the music industry where it's like, are there actual industry plants? Do you know what that is? Like,
Yeah,
do you believe that's a thing?
it's very likely.
Yeah,
Let's put it that way.
very likely.
But
Okay.
no, because I know for a fact that I don't know if you know like about like Spotify bots, bot
Yeah.
farms and stuff like that.
Yeah, yeah.
Well, massive labels use those.
Oh, okay.
So it's very any way they can further their music or their musicians, they will,
Yeah.
because that's business.
Yeah.
That's business. If like so, for example, they'll use bot farms for millions of streams because that'll make the song look popular and then more people stream it.
That's crazy. Man, I'm kind of
That
glad.
is it. That
Wow.
but it works. You know what I mean? Like, but what's what's worse? Like the horrible thing about it is, if an independent artist did that, they can be insta banned from Spotify for life.
Really?
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
So it's like there's so much there's so much like out of balance in the music industry, but it's the best time ever to be an independent artist. Like I cannot like it's so easy to reach an audience now, and like all you've got to do is like one thing that's a bit uncomfortable, and like all I have to do is stand in an industrial yard and go. You know what I mean? Like, yeah, it's very awkward when someone walks past and goes, "What are you doing?" like, um, so, but it that's what you got to do. You just got to get your song out, and there's literally like that, all the social media platforms just go, give us content to give to people, and it's like it's so easy.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's the best time to be an independent artist, but it's all that I would very much say there is likely there are real industry plants. There are very big schemes going on by the big record labels to keep them in business,
Yeah.
because obviously now it's so easy for independent artists. They're gonna need like I read a lot of like business stuff as well, like on the music industry. So like I know that the reason record labels are like sort of suffering now is because they don't own the only source of distribution. Like it used to be back in the day, they were the only means to get your tracks on a CD in a shop.
Oh, okay.
Now anyone can just go on the internet and get their song on Spotify. So
Yeah.
they don't own the distribution network anymore, which is why they struggle a lot more than they used to. But now, what I think the shift is coming where we'll see the next era of like digitization, where like things go into like virtual, oh well, I should say augmented reality worlds, like as gaming progresses and you're in like virtual reality all the time.
Yeah.
They'll own the digital record stores in there, because I know they're buying a lot of record labels now are buying shares in companies that are doing like augmented reality. because then they'll be able to distribute their music and be the sole distributor again.
Yeah, so like in a way, kind of like cryptocurrency, kind of like in a way.
Kind of, yeah. So you're talking like when NFTs were set to be the next huge thing, a lot of record labels went in on NFTs because it was really good for the label and the artist, because every time an NFT got sold on, you could retain a fee back to the artist.
That's a lot of money.
Really,
Yeah, that's a lot of money.
So essentially, like every time an NFT was sold, you could retain 10% of that. You could write it into the code of that NFT that you retain 10% of that sale. So as it increased in value and kept getting sold on and sold on and sold on, you'd obviously keep making money, which is why NFTs was going to be like revolutionary for the music industry. But obviously, it kind of just fizzled out after COVID, didn't it?
Yeah, no, it really did. It's so funny. People were saying that cryptocurrency was gonna be like the next big thing, and it definitely was not.
We even started making Blind Eye See NFTs at one point.
I gotta know that. Okay, hold up.
Yeah,
Fill me in on this.
I was like, oh, do you know what? In case this does take off, I best cover my own ass, really. But yeah, we did like one for each song on the first album with the different coloured album artworks that represented that song. Never launched them or anything, but.
Oh, okay. I was gonna say, does some random fan have the possible like chance of having that? But no, you never launched it. Okay.
No, never launched it.
So, has there been any other I guess like projects that you never really launched?
There was but I actually did end up getting to release it, which was really cool. With the last album, we released the song "Devil's Debt" as like the bonus track on the last album, which was more like a very fast, in-your-face, deathcore-y. I want to say it was like old school Suicide Silence meets old school Slipknot.
Ooh, I definitely gotta listen to that then.
Yeah, that it's just like it just hits like a train and doesn't stop all the way through.
Okay.
And it's even got my like my signature like Northern British talking phrases in it and everything. So like it's that was a fun project, because that was one of those that me and Cameron were just looking for something to work on in the studio because we just finished out, and I just pulled it up and I said, I've got this, I don't know if anything going, and he listened to it and he went, wait, no. But yeah, we got to release that, which was cool. Other than that, I mean, I've got a file full of songs that are like unfinished, finished, but we didn't really like, finished, but the lyrics weren't really what I wanted them to be. Like, do you know what I mean? Like all sorts of stuff like that. That it's good to, like, when you need an idea, you can like grab it and go, that could work for something, and we could maybe work on that. Or if I come up with new lyrics at some part, I go, actually, I had a song that would work with that a while back. And yeah, there's a lot as a band. Like, you get 10 songs on the album, we write 50 or 60 before like you get those 10.
Jesus.
So
whoa.
And especially, I don't know whether that's for all bands, but like for us in particular, like I'm very particular with like what I want releasing. Like I'm very like, it has to be like, we have to have a reason. Whether it doesn't have to be like the be all and end all. Like we've got new songs coming that I wouldn't say are like revolutionary musically, but the message in the song and the feeling you get out of the song sits right with what the band is about, and that's what's most important to me.
Okay. And I think obviously with how well you're kind of putting that out, obviously people like me who really pay attention to that stuff are gonna probably hear that. It's funny that you bring that up because I wanted to actually ask you one about the song. Oh my god, I was just literally just listening to it. Hang on, 2 seconds. I was literally in prison. Yeah, in prison.
Yes.
Yeah, in prison. So with In Prison, I've just listened to it, and then I just was about to repeat it because before you hopped on, I was trying to maybe get the understanding of the music behind it. what is like imprisonment about, and like what was like kind of that thought process behind that?
Now that is you're gonna either regret asking this question or really like that you've answered this question because it's gonna be a big answer. If you can just give me 1 minute,
Yeah.
Loki's just here. He just needs to go out.
Yeah, no, you're good.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, of course.
Come here, Loki.
No worries, Hyrule.
Sorry about that.
Nah.
Dog just needed to go out.
No, dude. Obviously, dude. Your
He's been a
dog
good
comes
boy.
first.
So yeah, in prison. So actually, in prison is part of a 3-song saga. So
Oh, okay.
far. So Imprison's the first one, Asylum is the second one, and Isolate is the third one and the most recent one. If you notice, if you listen to those 3 songs back to back, they sort of have parallel structures. Where what I wanted to do with each song was have like a beginning, a middle that was like a different song, and then back to the beginning essentially. So it was like a full circle.
Oh,
And
okay.
like, so it was written in a way that like it's about the 5 stages of grief,
Okay.
but it's about the 5 stages of grief in a way that what happens if you don't deal with each stage in a correct and healthy manner.
I respect. Oh, okay.
So
Okay.
the idea within prison was like you feel trapped, you feel like you've sort of locked yourself in your own, like in your own head, your own thoughts. You've you start to like break away from who you are. You start to forget like the fundamentals of your personality, your being, and it was the essentially the lyrics like now in retrospect I wish I'd written them in a slightly less of this because I feel like they are can be perceived as quite like childish and immature, but it's it was supposed to represent the sort of like silly thoughts in your head that were like quite cliche and immature and like thingy, and like it's I wanted it to sort of be like a journey into the depths of your descent into grief. So
Okay.
it's like something's just happened, like something's happened prior to this. It's really like hurt and like destroyed you, whether that was like losing someone, whether that was like family dying, like whatever the grief was. And then it was the first stages of grief where you don't deal with these stages properly, and it becomes part of your being that you never get over and starts to turn to a scar. Now that was what Imprison was about. Asylum was then the turning point from where imprisoned in your head you begin to blame the world and not yourself for what's happened, and it starts to sort of like make you think that you're not the one, the world is to blame for your problems and never getting over your problems, and that everyone's out to get you. Like the world has poisoned you, and you're not. You like, yeah. So that's essentially it. Yeah,
Yeah. Okay.
and you start to blame the world for everything. And the line that always resonated with me in that one was so much was it's when you start to go down that rabbit hole of like seeing all the negativity in the world and never any of the positive along the side of that. And it was like the idols with IQs less than fingers on their praying hands. Because I felt like that line itself encapsulated everything everyone could hate all in one line. You've got like these pop stars that are so dumb and so like don't really like have any right to be famous and are just like put there to entertain the masses. And then there's like the religious aspect of it that like people always like can never agree on religion, whether it's like any religion. Like everyone always like there's wars being fought over religion still to this day. Like it's all encapsulated in that one line, but it's not real. it's all in your head.
Yeah.
Like you don't need to be a part of that fight. Just take yourself out of it. So that's why I really like that song. And then Isolate was the part where it was like everything falls apart in your life because you've not dealt with this properly. People leave you. No one wants to be around you because like you're just bitter and in pain, like bitter and not really dealing with your emotions. So you're always bringing other people down, always like being disrespectful and like not caring about anyone anymore. And yeah, so it's like this journey through the 5 stages of grief, but without dealing with any of the emotions in there. And eventually I wanted to write Escape, where it was like an uplifting song at the end of it, where it was like, this is not who you are. Like, you get help. You can help yourself. You don't need this doesn't need to be you anymore.
Yeah. And damn, holy shit. I definitely like that. I don't know how anybody could dislike what you just said. That is damn. I'm gonna have to listen to all three of those because I didn't think it was that in deep. Because holy shit, wow. That's crazy. I'm glad I asked that question because I was listening to it and I was like, man, it has to be something. But yeah, okay, that makes sense. Um,
Yeah, it was the sort of yeah, that's dude, In Prison was like one of the first like songs I wrote for this project, like this Making Blind I See project, because I always had this idea of doing like it didn't actually pan out, but like I wanted to do like one of those songs for like the first 4 albums we did.
yeah,
So like In Prison on the first one, Asylum on the next one, Isolate on the next one, and then like maybe Escape or another one, and then Escape on the next one. And then what I wanted to do is like track our progress through our career with those 4 albums. And when Escape came out, do like a full length 4-piece music video type film of
yeah.
like showing the journey through these 4 songs.
I think
Um,
uh, I think the next one would be like Ascended. That'd be kind of cool.
yeah,
Ascended,
so
and then something like that.
yeah, because I feel like you definitely need something between Isolate and Escape, like there to bridge that gap.
You
Because the
yeah,
way Isolate ends, it was like you've completely lost your mind. Because it ends with me doing like a
and
like a kind of creepy laugh.
yeah, and then now you're going up. So yeah,
Yeah,
that could fit. Um, I wanted to bring up you brought up religion. We're not gonna go too deep into that because that could last for hours. But are you a very religious person? Do you bring in religion into your songs or anything like that?
so I try to keep like, unless it's based on like I'm telling a story in the song. I try to keep like anything like really political or really like religious out of it, because the band is about finding your own beliefs, finding your own truth, and not caring what anyone else thinks of you. Like, I'm never going to judge anyone based on what they believe, as long as they don't like try and tell me what I should believe.
Okay.
It's that simple. Like, as long as you give me my freedom to believe what I want, I will always give you the right to believe you, like the freedom to believe what you want, and I will never judge you for that. And that's
Respect.
the fundamental like core of this band. Like, we can all come together in music. We don't have to fight just because we disagree.
Okay.
and and it's just that simple. Like, there's no the entire world is in constant conflict now. Like,
Facts.
every article you see on the internet is a clickbait title of someone hating on something that like other people really enjoy and love. And it's like, all you're doing is trying to infuriate people to get comments and get likes, but everyone's mental health is suffering because you cannot find a better way to engage people with your crap content. Like,
Yeah, it's that's such a good point that you bring up because that's like kind of like what like Instagram and TikTok is kind of full of. It's just kind of like brain rot stuff.
it is,
And
it is.
yeah, that's like kind of one thing I wanted to ask was like, how do you feel about like what you kind of see on Instagram? Like, how do you feel about that?
It's, I try not. I honestly just try to stay off social media as much as I can. Like,
Yeah,
I I don't have personal social media accounts. Let's put it that way. Like
Oh,
the
okay.
only one I have is a personal Facebook, and that's because I have to for the band
Oh,
page.
well, yeah, that's fair.
Um, but like I don't have personal social media because literally, even when I go on like the band's feeds, like I look at it and I go, ugh,
Yeah,
like
it's
it's
intoxicating. It's insane.
it really is. Yeah, it's some of the titles you see and you just think like,
What?
imagine being so ready to cast hate into the world.
Yeah, I couldn't be that couldn't be me. That's like why I like when you asked me like what I do, I try to like I'm trying to change, I guess, in a way of like what people see in smaller bands because I think a lot of people have like this idea of smaller bands that like they're just trying to copy some other bigger band and
Yeah.
it's like I don't even think that's remotely true.
No, let's put it this way: no band goes to a studio, sits there with their art and their passion, and goes, I want to write the next Bring Me the Horizon song." Like,
Yeah.
no band does that. Like, do you know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
the, I don't tend to listen to music when I'm in a writing mood. Like, I won't listen because like the problem when you start, especially I won't listen to music in the genre I'm like attempting to write in. So I tend to like distance myself so that I'm not constantly sat there thinking, oh, am I copying this or am I copying that or am I copying that? Like, there's only 12 notes on the fretboard. Like, there's only 12 notes. Like, do you know
That's
what I
yeah,
mean?
yeah, 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 that's true. Yeah.
Like, eventually things are going to be the same. But like, if you look at music from like the 60s, the 50s, like everyone used the same three chords and they just did it in a different key. Like,
Yeah.
it's like music will always take inspiration from music and like, but it's not about the instrumentation as much as it's about the feeling and as much as it's about the emotion that went into crafting that piece of art, whether it's the same as something else. Like, otherwise, like, what would be the point of doing a cover? Like, you're still putting your passion into, even if it's someone else wrote it, you're still putting your passion and your spin and your personal emotion onto someone else's art. Like, so it's, to me, I don't think it's like were like, no one's doing that. No one's saying, oh, I'm gonna write someone else's music, I'm copying someone else's music. Everyone's just writing their own music and their inspirations come out in that music. And the people who are hung up on that are the people who never made anything of themselves and are just jealous that other people are doing what they couldn't.
Exactly. And I only have a few more questions and I'll let you go. Cuz I don't want to keep you. I don't want to keep you. So another few questions that I have which is oh, I literally had it in my oh, yeah, 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 yeah. You brought up covers.
Yes.
Your the 115 cover. Absolute amazing. That was really good. I wanted to ask, did you get permission from her or did she send you like a different like cover or something? Like because I've listened to the original track and like she sounds different vocally. I don't know if maybe I'm just tripping
So
out.
the different vocalists. So the
Oh,
singer on ours is my fiance.
no shit.
Yeah.
Oh my god, they both sound alike. Holy shit.
So close, yeah. She, when I heard her singing, well, the first time like I ever heard her singing, I thought to myself, she would be amazing at covering 115. Now that was back in college when we met, like years ago, and then we were having like a little get together with the band at our flat, and we were just discussing, and it turned out we were all massive fans of COD Zombies, and we were all talking about it, and we just ended up and it's like, why don't we do a cover of one? And then it was like, okay, and then I went away, we started getting the session together, started like making everything, went in, got it recorded, um, and then and then I was like, do you know who's going to be singing on this for sure? And I managed to convince her to come in and sing it. And it was amazing. Like she did an absolutely incredible job. Like
Yeah.
yeah, it was really fun to do, really fun to work on that one. And to be fair, I'm really thinking about like I've got sessions made of other ones that we could do as well.
Please, I was just that was actually gonna be my question. That was gonna be one of my other
Yeah,
questions.
it's a likely potential that it could happen. We could do a couple. If not, like I'd like to just like do like 3 or 4 of them and just like release it as an EP.
Yeah, dude,
Like
I'll even send you the guitar track and you could just do the vocals over them. Like I know how to play Beauty of a Night. I know how to play some of them. I'm a huge COD
yeah,
Zombies fan. And
same. Like
okay, as we're both COD Zombies fans, okay? This is where we decipher whether or not we're going to be best friends right now, okay? Out of all the zombies maps that you've played, all right? What is your go-to zombies map?
oh, go to that.
I had to ask the question.
So, oh, go to. See, no, because like 16 maps have just popped into my head all at once. It would depend on the game. Like, it would depend on the game, though. Like, so, like,
Let's
original World at War.
yeah, let's go like over.
Breeze.
Okay.
No, original World at War, probably the Shin Onuma. I really like Shin Onuma because it was
Okay.
the first one with the Wonder Waff, and then, like, you could, like, do the little train in the SWAT in the, oh, what was the area called now? The one at the bottom of the stairs from the first room.
The
You could do the little train.
oh shit, the surgeon room.
Yeah, I can't remember.
It's like some surgeon.
Yeah, you know what I mean.
Yeah, yeah.
If we're going down to Black Ops, now I really like 5. Like I really enjoyed 5. I thought it was
Okay.
a really like I thought it was a really cool spin on it, but I also really like Kino. But then I also really like Ascension. So it's
Okay.
really hard to pick out of it. But I would have to say for Black Ops 1, my go-to would have probably been 5.
Okay.
Black Ops 2 would have been Die Rise, the skyscraper one.
Ooh. Hard map.
Because I love the AK-94, and you had to go down the whole little slidey bit and grab the
Yeah.
ammo, and it was a really cool train to get your ammo every time, and it was quite good to get away. So, and I really like the flinger.
Yeah,
That was-
yeah, the flinger. Yep.
Black Ops 3. Oh, was it Zetsubo no Shima, the swamp one?
Yeah, that's a bow.
I think Zetsubo was probably my go-to favorite on, because I didn't really like what was the Nikolai Easter egg one, the one with the dragon.
Grod Covey.
Grodkovi. I didn't really like it. It was too narrow everywhere. You couldn't like train anywhere properly.
Yep.
All the corridors were way too narrow, so I didn't get on with that map. Let's put it that way.
Yeah, no, neither did I.
And then Black Ops 4, which is probably where I stopped playing. I loved the Fall of the Dead remaster that they did. Because
Okay.
when Black Ops 1, where they had, what's his name, George Romero walking around after you, I hated it. It used to drive me nuts. Like,
Yeah,
I love the map, but that part of the map used to like ruined it for me.
yeah. Because every time you would want to go get the pack-a-punch, you would have to go through that fucking cold ass lake, and then there he is trailing behind you because he doesn't get slowed down. And then anytime you want to shoot him, he gets angry and then chases after you, and then he'll one tap you, even if you have Juggernog.
Oh yeah, even if you have it. Yeah, let's go back in.
Oh yeah, let the dog go back in. I was about to ask.
Oh, he wasn't outside. Don't worry. He was just. He'd been let back in. He was just at the door. He wanted to come back in and sit on the couch over there. I don't know if you can see him.
Yeah, I've been noticing. Oh, it's such a cute dog. What breed is he?
Yeah, mascot. Look, he's a whippet crossed with a beagle.
I'm not a crazy dog guy. Like I don't know anything crazy, anything about dogs. But my parents have a chocolate lab, and then
Oh,
I some mix. I forgot some mix. It's like a Chihuahua mix. Little shit dog. I call it. Uh, for me personally, for World at War, obviously we have to go with the cult classic Noctur der Toten.
Yeah.
Either Noctur der Toten or Verrückt, because
I did love Varrock, to be fair. Like, Varrock, I remember when that first came out, it was such a, like, creepy map. I loved that.
And the fucking Verrückt sprinters,
Yeah.
scary as shit, bro.
Yeah, man.
Let's see. After Cole, let's see. Black Ops 1. Yeah, I would have to go with you. Kino der Toten. Yeah. I didn't like Shina no Numa. I didn't really like 5 because, like, well, Classified it was called at that time. I didn't really like it, me personally, because of the fucking doctor. The doctor that would steal all your weapons.
Yeah.
Nope. I'm good with that.
I'm glad they didn't have that in the remaster on Black Ops 4.
I'm so glad. Yeah, same. Let's see. Black Ops 2. It's a bit controversial, but me personally, Transit, because honestly, Transit should have been relived to how it was like on the PC port, where it was all of the maps in one. If you know what I'm talking about, the mod, where it's all the maps in one, and you're actually able to do the whole Transit, and it's like, yeah, that's my definitely one of my go-tos. Black Ops 3. Now that's a hard one because I know all the maps by the back of my hand, and I've been playing that game since it first came out.
And plus, you've got the remasters from like
Black Ops 1
games as well, from Black Ops 1, and like you've got the original 4, haven't you, as well on there?
But the original 4 were not good. I'm gonna be honest. I hate to say it. Shadows of Evil. It was like the Easter egg was too hard. You needed 4 people.
Yeah.
The megalodons were just excessive. We didn't need it. But that's beside the point. Honestly, when in doubt, either that's hard, cause like, either Kino, the Black Ops 3 version of Kino, because
I love the Black Ops 3 version.
The Black Ops 3 version is because they actually did it right, because the theater is a lot more bigger and not smaller like they did it in Black Ops 1, because Black Ops 1's theater is smaller. I don't know if you ever noticed that. They're actually bigger. Black Ops 3's theater is bigger than the first one, and that was actually a very nice improvement. So Kino for sure. Black Ops 4, yeah, I would have to go with you. Blood of the Dead. Because, I mean, obviously it's Blood of the Dead. You can't go wrong with Blood of the Dead. Now, I played a little bit of Cold War. It was...
Same.
Yeah, it was...
What was it? Firebase? What was it? Firebase Zero, was it, or something?
Yeah, Firebase.
Yeah, with like the Wonder AK, that one. I played that a bit. That was alright.
I just called it like Wannabe Knocked, because it looked like Wannabe Noctur der Toten. It was like Temu version of Noctur der Toten. My last question for you, and that would be it, because it's been an honor, honestly. I've been looking forward to this since we first met, and you're a genuine dude. And the last question I have for you, and I think no fan has ever asked, because like I don't think anybody was like too concerned to ask, but like I have to ask, which is, if there was a point in time that if you could ever go back, where, you know, whether it's like your first band or whatever, would you ever go back in time and change would you change anything?
Ooh, put me on the spot. I don't think I mean, potentially, but at the same time, like, the way things have landed now is so good. Like, I just wish... All I would say is, if I could go back and not waste time on certain people who I let into this band, and then not be... Because the way it landed for us was, we launched the band, we launched like an EP, we had problems with members. I had to build it from the ground back up, and then as I got to the point where things were starting to get better, COVID hit. So that was
Oof.
another 2 years of completely like. So we hadn't established ourselves where we could do shows anyway. So we had to wait 2 years to do our first show.
Oh wow.
So yeah, so we ended up like working on the album through COVID, the first album through COVID, and then it was just like we just launch it. We just need to launch. Like we didn't have enough like prep, shall we say, like to we didn't know what we were doing because like obviously we had COVID to contend with and things like that, and then I'd just like recovered from like losing the entire band and having to start from scratch. And if I could go back and not waste my time on those people and like that would have been, I think that would be where I would stand, because I think the band would be like 5 years further along than we are now. If we'd have been able to launch like the first album when when like where we should have been able to back in, I think it would have been in like 2018 instead of 2021. We'd be a lot further along because I would have been able to do more like learning the social media side of things and like learning how to run the business side of it and having the right people around. So I think that would be my answer. I wouldn't waste time on people who weren't worth my time.
Okay, yeah, I think that was a good answer, and honestly, I think the best way to end this would be just saying, thank you so much. I cannot express my gratitude and just how thankful I am for you giving me your time to step out of your way. I know you're very busy and coming to ask a random ass person who knows absolutely nothing of you now, but knows everything about you. And, I just appreciate it, dude. I really do.
Well, I really appreciate you inviting me on. To be fair, it's been a really really awesome chat.
Yeah. And honestly, um, on from here on out, I hope you guys just ascend.
Thank you so much.
And
Thank you.
eh,
Yeah. Thank you so much for having me, and I'm sure we'll speak soon.
yeah, of course, man. And I'm looking forward to keeping in contact. And I'll be probably contacting you about one of your guys' tabs and seeing if we can work
Yeah.
something out.
Yeah, absolutely no problem. Well, you know where to find me.
All right, man. It was good talking to you, man.
All right. Awesome talking to you, mate. Thank you very much.
Yes, sir. You too, man. I'll see you later.
See you later.
Bye. Well, that was it, chat. That was awesome. I agree. This is exactly why I wanted to make what I made. That was awesome. That was the coolest 2 hours ever. What's up, do? We just got done interviewing a band called Making Blind IC, and it was one of the coolest experiences, and that's going to be uploaded to YouTube. And I think that's the end of the stream for me today. I've been going on for 5 hours, basically. I appreciate every single one of you guys. I appreciate every single one of you guys being here. And I'll see you guys in the next stream. Farewell, everybody.